Hi, I'm Debbie Goodman. Welcome to my show, Martial Arts Mania. I wanted to give local martial artists here in the Fresno area the opportunity to come on the show, talk about their style, and let everyone know what classes they offer. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy the show. Hi, and welcome to Martial Arts Mania. I'm Debbie Goodman, your host. Today we are honored and privileged to have a movie star in our studio. Welcome, Silvio Simac.
Thank you very much. Pleasure's mine.
Well, thank you for coming. I haven't seen you since I met you last year at my birthday party.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
Sometimes I get these great surprise birthday gifts. So you've just come back from Atlantic City.
Correct.
And what were you doing there?
Atlantic City's annual events, Martial Arts Expo, largest one in the world that I've personally attended myself. In terms of caliber of people that attend, it's also probably one of the largest ones in the world. The likes of Cynthia Rothrock, Don Wilson, James Liu. So quite a nice cast of people that attend. So it's my third time. I've missed the last 2 years, and I've come back this year.
Well, next year I get to go, I hope.
Cool. Be nice to see you there.
Thank you, yes. In May, I'm going down to Newport Beach to cover Martial Arts Hall of Fame inductee awards ceremony.
Sure.
Maybe I'll see you there.
Maybe. Maybe. Actually, this event in Atlantic City was a combination of an expo as well as Martial Arts Awards or Hall of Fame Awards, which was a huge event. I think there was some 1,200 people seated at the dinner in the evening event, which was great. And Robert De Niro was there, which was highlight of the event.
You talking to me? Love him. He's a Leo like me.
He's great, quite a legend.
That's great. Well, you're Italian, aren't you? But Italian descent?
I am half Italian. I was born in Croatia. My mum's Italian, my dad's Croatian. I spent most of my life in UK, based in London.
So that's where the British accent comes from.
Guess so.
And how old were you when you moved to
I was 12 years old when I moved to UK.
Okay.
And I've been there ever since. Although I spent 2 years in France, in Paris, unfortunately.
Oh, that's okay.
No, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad.
Do you speak French?
A little.
Okay.
I'm not fluent.
Okay, that would make it tough. All right, so tell us about some of the movies that you've been in.
I started off with Hong Kong productions. My first production was filmed in Thailand, actually, but it was Hong Kong production, Black Mask 2, which was international release, starring Tyler Mane, ex-wrestler, Rob Van Dam, Scott Atkins, and quite a few Far Eastern stars. My career kicked off from there. I came back to London. I decided this is what I wanted to do. I fell in love with the whole industry. So I enrolled into local drama classes to further my career. Ever since then, I've been very lucky and fortunate to have worked with some of the legends, really, from the martial arts world. People like Jackie Chan, Jet Li, Jason Statham, Eric Roberts, Michael J. White, Scott Atkins, Rob Van Dam, numerous other people. Films like Transporter 3, Undisputed 2, Unleashed.
What movie did you work on with Eric Roberts?
Dead or Alive.
Ah, okay.
Dead or Alive is a movie based on PlayStation game, popular PlayStation game.
Okay.
It was a very, very popular game, so they had a shot at doing the film.
Great. Now, I pulled you up on IMDb the other day, and you were on a very unique list.
Was I?
The top 100 kick-ass martial arts actors that are still alive.
Okay.
Did you know that?
No, I was not aware of it at all, no.
Okay, you're going to have to pull up that list and find out where you ranked.
Okay, I will do.
Okay. So what are some of your personal favorite martial arts movies to watch? Maybe you weren't in them, but just to watch.
I think the whole martial arts movie genre kind of kicked off with the slightly cheesy era, 1980s and early 90s. And some of those movies I think I was most influenced by
Okay.
Although I have to say some of the earliest ones I remember watching were definitely Bruce Lee movies. Movies like Game of Death, Enter the Dragon. But some of the movies when I was going through my teens were probably most influential on my on me wanted to get into movies myself. Movies like Bloodsport, Kickboxer, Jean-Claude Van Damme films, Steven Seagal. But there wasn't one in particular. I think it's got to be a combination of various movies that influenced me and affected me as an actor as well as a martial artist.
Okay. And what style of martial arts have you studied?
I started off with Taekwondo. Once I got my black belt in Taekwondo, my hunger to learn and develop and further myself as a martial artist just became greater. So I diversified into other systems: kickboxing, karate, combat self-defense, Choi Kwang Do. I've got black belts in 5 different systems, 5 different disciplines, but I have cross-trained in different art forms.
Okay. Yeah, I started off in Shotokan, and I eventually ended up in Kung Fu. So that's kind of a, well, far cry. Do you have a particular favorite, one that you would always go back to if they said you can only do one?
Wow, I think having started Taekwondo first, that definitely had the biggest influence on me and gave me very, very strong foundation. But over the years, I've realized the benefits of other systems themselves. And I think to some extent, martial arts which are competitive can have detrimental effect on the body, especially if you push yourself beyond certain limits. And having competed for 11 years internationally for Great Britain, it does have a toll on the body, and it can be damaging long term. So therefore, for that reason, I wouldn't say any particular system of martial arts is for life. So it's really good to cross-train in different systems. As you age, it's good to cross borders into different systems and learn other disciplines, which are probably softer. And I think over the years I've realized that I cannot afford to do things I used to do when I was younger, because I would like to practice martial arts in 15, 20 years.
Absolutely.
So health and safety has to come first and foremost on top of the list. As a competitor, that wasn't the issue. I wanted to be the best that I can be.
Right.
And I wanted to conquer my competitors, so I pushed myself beyond limit. But I think that's the same case with most professional sports. You push yourself to such an extent that your body can only take so much. So there are benefits of all different systems. I wouldn't necessarily say one is the best one. So it's good to cross-train between different systems, but you have to find it for yourself which one suits you best.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because I have gotten back into Tai Chi. And actually, my Tai Chi instructor is also a Taekwondo instructor, Sean Lee. He has Pinnacle Martial Arts here in Fresno. I've gone back to my instructor, John Cho, in Kung Fu, but I have found that I can't quite get into those some of those positions like I used to, like a deep dragon stance or something, or spinning tornado kick. It's a little more difficult now, so I understand.
It is, although I have to say I still practice those hard movements, and in particular Taekwondo movements. Taekwondo is very spectacular to watch to a human eye, and I think those spectacular movements that I've learned from Taekwondo translate very well on the screen.
On film, yes.
Because people want to be impressed. Although I have been quite intrigued and interested to make a crossover and experience some Tai Chi. I've heard and I've seen some phenomenal performances by Tai Chi masters and grandmasters. But for the purpose of theatrical look in TV and film, I have to practice Taekwondo still, because it's very spectacular. So I have to keep up my stretching and my flexibility, as well as agility and speed and power, which is very impressive on TV screen.
Absolutely.
So I still do that.
And what sort of diet do you follow?
Wow. I've always been quite into my diet and nutrition ever since I was a kid, even before I started martial arts. For some reason, I was just very interested in diet, in developing myself physically. And I think one of the biggest influences, undoubtedly, growing up in the 70s was Bruce Lee, because Bruce Lee appeared in phenomenal shape, in particular for that time. He was in phenomenal condition. My diet is very strict. It's very healthy. I watch what I eat when I eat it. I tend to go for high protein, low carbohydrate diet. Most of the time. I train 5 days a week, twice a day.
Wow.
So it's one of those very strict regimes and routines, which once again, what I said, Taekwondo has really served me very well in instilling that discipline that I can carry on through myself, because it is very disciplined martial art.
Mm-hmm. Well, your diet may be a little different over in the UK than it would be, say, if you lived here in California. They're big meat eaters, aren't they, in Great Britain?
I wouldn't necessarily say they're big meat eaters. I personally tend to go for meat and fish, tend to place emphasis on high protein diet.
Mm-hmm.
But if you, for instance, if you observe and watch some of the other species of animals, like tigers and lions, their diet is predominantly meat and protein. And if you look at their structure and their physique, they're very strong, very lean, very low body fat.
Mm-hmm.
If you compare those animals to animals like sheep and elephants, which graze all day long on carbohydrates and vegetables, they tend to be a lot weaker and also heavier.
This is true.
Believe it or not, elephants are weaker than human beings pound for pound.
Mm-hmm.
So I tend to kind of follow a caveman diet, very high in protein, low in carbohydrates, which is doesn't always leave me feeling great, because I'm lacking the energy because of my very intense training regime.
Well, if it weren't for you being mic'd up, I'd have you rip your shirt off and show everybody. We've got a picture in the background of you with your shirt off. Looks great.
Thank you.
Do you mind mentioning your age?
39.
39.
Correct.
All right. So this year we're going to have the big, I hope
big party this year.
All right. I hope it's in Los Angeles and I can come.
Hopefully, yes. Hopefully.
Okay. Well, maybe we could show some clips of some of your films.
Why not?
All right. Sounds good. Oh my goodness. Now, I noticed something at the beginning of that clip. It's also on your pendant. It's a dragon shaped like an S or something. What is that?
That's correct. First of all, you probably noticed it's dragon-shaped, which is probably most commonly used symbol within martial arts. Most frequently used symbol, for sure. It's one of those things which took me a number of years to actually come up with. And I am quite symbolic in everything I wear. It has to signify something of importance, either to my life or my experiences. And it took me, like I said, a number of years to come up with the yes dragon. First of all, it symbolizes or stands for my first name, my initials of my first name, as well as my surname. But also it stands for 5 main components of all sports, including martial arts. And those components are skill, speed, strength, stamina, suppleness, and lastly, synergy between all the 5 components. Mm-hmm. Every single sport we look at requires those components, some in higher proportions and ratios than others. Skill, speed, strength, stamina, suppleness, and synergy between the 5. Mm-hmm. So I came up with this concept, and most of my seminars and tutorials and classes that I've been teaching have been based around those concepts. So I've been cross-training not only through martial arts, but I've been training boxers and soccer players and various other sports people, teaching them those components, how to improve their skill or their performance within their sport, utilizing some of those components. So I call it the S factor.
That's fantastic. And you also have an earring, S-shape?
Yes, I have. It's S-shaped.
Right. Tell me the name Silvio. Does it mean silver or?
Silvio is Italian name which originates from Latin word which means of the forest.
Oh,
Maybe that's why I've got this passion for woods and outdoors. I love outdoors, especially the forest. I think I just feed off the energy.
Mm-hmm.
So I have been told by various mediums so far that in my previous life I was a native Indian. Maybe that's what's been bringing me to USA.
That's interesting because I am part Native American.
Okay.
Do you have pets by any chance?
No, I
Okay.
used to have a dog, but not anymore.
Okay. The reason I asked is when you mentioned running through the forest, I could sort of envision you running with like a large German Shepherd or Siberian Husky type.
Or grizzly bear.
A grizzly bear. When you have time to settle down, would you like to own some pets?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. I think when I did have a dog, it gave me a really soothing feeling, especially after a stressful day.
Mm-hmm.
If I've had a stressful day, I come home, and it's just nothing is more therapeutic than having that interaction with a dog, for instance. That gives you unconditional love. Can't wait till you get home. So I love animals, absolutely.
Great. Can I ask you if you have someone special in your life?
I haven't, no, not at the
Oh,
moment.
ladies. Is that something that you'd like to marry and have children someday?
Perhaps. I think at the moment I'm just so focused into my career and my future that I'm not even thinking about it. I'm just so focused. I'm really enjoying myself as I am. So it's not one of those things I want to be forcing upon myself. If and when it happens, it will be natural. So.
Would you like to have children, and would you like to see them go into martial arts?
You know what? I really think with women, they get this intuitive feeling
Mm-hmm.
that they're ready to be parents. I think maybe I'm wrong. With most men, they kind of are never ready for it. So intuitively, I've not really had that feeling just yet. I might someday. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I do heavily trust my emotions and feelings, and I think I'm quite intuitive. So I don't like to force things upon myself if I don't feel it's the right time
True.
or I'm in the right position to do certain things. So I'll keep trusting my intuition for the time being.
Sounds good to me. We have a mutual friend. That's how we met. Her name is Lou Dwyer.
Correct.
And how did you meet Lou?
I met Lou through Facebook.
Wow.
We were talking for quite some time. Lou Dwyer was into fighting arts for a number of years. In fact, for a number of decades. Started off from boxing, and she's been contributing to a mixed martial arts world for a number of years, quite largely. And her circle of friends had crossed over to my circle of friends, and that's how we met each other on Facebook. And during her visit with her team, she was owning and running a mixed martial arts team. She came to London, and that's how we met first time physically in person.
Mm-hmm.
We became very close friends, and the trust had been becoming stronger and stronger. And she recognized, or she saw I had something that I could probably expand on and make some more noise if I came to USA.
That's
And
great.
she encouraged me to make this step, which initially scared the hell out of me. I was very nervous coming along, changing the direction of my life and being in USA. But she made it ever so easy for me, offered her hand and her place to come over and give me full support, and I'm glad I have. The first time I came to Fresno, I was quite concerned and worried, not sure which direction my life was going to take. This is my second time, and it's starting to feel like home. So
Wow.
I'm feeling very much at ease, and Ms. Lou Dwyer has made that huge difference to my life, and I'm feeling very positive for the future.
Oh, I think it's great. I think that, so last August was the first time you'd visited? That's when I remember meeting you.
That's correct. August 2012 was the last time I was here.
Wow. So you came during a very hot time. How was the climatization of switching from England to hot California?
It was hot. It was hot, but it wasn't too hot. It was just about right, I think. And I think, having spent much of my life in Mediterranean, it was about
true.
similar climate.
That's
So I was kind of
true.
accustomed to it, used to it. Compared to England, yes, the big difference.
Mm-hmm.
I think your winters are our summers in UK. So
Oh.
yeah,
Okay. Okay. Yeah, when it drops below 70 here in Fresno, we get out the Uggs and the parkas. So
We don't get much of a summer in UK. We get 2
Wow.
weeks of summer. That's about it, really.
wow. Well, I knew that my ancestors left there for a reason.
I don't blame them.
So do you think you might move here to California?
Having come back to Fresno for the second time, I'm really starting to feel the flavor and feel I can see this is my home because I'm feeling a lot more comfortable, a lot more settled. I applied for temporary work permit as well as green card, which seems to be moving along swiftly. So it is quite promising and highly likely impossible that I will. If I really look at it realistically, USA is at the forefront of certain trends around the world when it comes to sport and arts. And for me, as a martial artist, as an athlete and an actor, I stand much better prospects being here and having a lot more power to influence much wider audience than I would do if I was in Europe, which tends to be a lot more conservative, I think. I do feel I get far more support here and encouragement in USA than I do in UK. Martial arts generally are very, very obscure in UK. Over here, I think it's a lot more, people are a lot more encouraging. So absolutely, I do see myself moving here and living here and hopefully working here.
So have you spent much time in Los Angeles?
Each time I come to USA, I do make trips. Not a great deal, but each time I come along, I spend 4, 5, 6 days, maybe a week sometimes. Although last year I was there probably for 3 weeks altogether.
Well, someone once described Los Angeles as Fresno at warp speed. So do you see any similarities between Los Angeles and Fresno?
I do see similarities, but something I've said time and time again. Me personally, obviously for work, for me it's more beneficial to be in LA. But I prefer Fresno because it's quieter, it's a lot more laid back. And I think over the years, as I've been getting older, I prefer a nice and quiet area. I like the buzz, don't take me wrong. And London is buzzing constantly, rushing around, everything's far away. But I think to live generally, it's more pleasant to live in a quieter place. And I think Fresno seems to be cleaner and tidier from what I've seen. But I haven't seen much of it, so I'm not the one to judge or just personal experience.
Well, I love LA, but I always appreciate Fresno when I come home. You can kind of feel it as you're coming back into Fresno. Just things just slowing down a little bit.
A lot more laid back.
Yeah. So, well, I have really enjoyed having you on the show.
It's been my pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
It's been a privilege.
Thank you.
So glad to have you back, and I do hope that you're able to stay and work here in the United States.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Crank out some more of those great movies, which some of them I'm going to have to catch up on Netflix or something.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks
Pleasure.
again.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. And thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the show.